Good evening. Good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, roommates. Come on in. Hey, y'all. Hello, hello. All right, let's see. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. Happy Tuesday. Hello, hello. Hey, y'all. I see you guys. Say hello to your roommates as you're coming in. Good evening, good evening. Hi there, I see you all. Hey, hey, hey. It is Tuesday. Hey, roommates. Hello, hello. Hey, y'all. Hey, Brown Fox, I see you. Thank you for joining. Love you, appreciate you. All right. Hey, Facebook. I see you guys. Just setting up for the comments. Hopefully I can get it right tonight and not, I always need Phoenix for something though. Hey y'all, come on in, say hello to your roommates as you're coming in. I see your hearts, thank you. All right, we're gonna jump on in. Y'all know we keep us a full hour or so stuff to talk about. I gotta be honest. I am trying to find a way to, scale back and, get us under an hour. You guys, your comments, your interactions, keep us at a good rate. And I'm okay with being at an hour, but I'm trying to challenge myself. Hey, y'all, I see y'all. Come on in, come on in. All right, let's get started. Hey, I see the hearts. I appreciate it. Hey, sister. Thank you for joining tonight. Guys, it has been a whirlwind of the last few weeks. And, today's topic is about being fearfully or fearlessly authentic to yourself, or just being your authentic self. And a part of authenticity is just transparency and being able to speak, the truth. That's just a part of being authentic, right? So the last few weeks have been a lot between traveling and when it was really, really cold outside a few weeks ago. I experienced a busted pipe and some flooding in my house. So when I tell you I have been on a roller coaster just trying to stay afloat, I mean that. Good evening, sister. So just bear with me. Your energy means the world and the most to me. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And tonight we're going to explore and we're going to do some definitions about what does it mean to authentically be ourselves, right? And so we're going to have a different set of messages and things like that. But I'm going to start with the message that's on my shirt. And a lot of you guys often ask, where do I get like these message shirts from? I'm going to eventually come out with a line of shirts with different sayings and stuff like that. But God is Dope is the brand that I wear when when you guys see messages across my shirt. But today's message on my shirt says, and then God opened her eyes and she stopped sleeping on herself. Guys, on this journey of just being authentically oneself, we have to learn how to celebrate ourselves and to understand that this journey that we're on is, it's multi-layered, right? And when we're referencing like authenticity and things like that, we're talking about being kind of at that highest vibrational level that we could possibly be in, emotionally, spiritually, as we just journey through and be on this path of authenticity. So with that, you guys know I always have to give us a biblical reference, and tonight is no different. So tonight we're going to be coming from Luke 12:2-3, and it teaches us that you can't keep your true self hidden forever. Before long, you will be exposed. You can't hide behind a mask forever. Sooner or later, the mask will slip and your true face will be known. You can't whisper one thing in public and preach the opposite in private, and vice versa. So you can't whisper one thing in private and preach the opposite in public. The ones coming when those whispered will be replaced and repeated all over town. So essentially what this is saying to us, roommates, is that authenticity is, it's coming from a place of being emotionally genuine. And this requires us to know what we believe and feel, and honestly expressing those beliefs and feelings in everything that we do, right? So you can't just go spewing like, I can't sit on this platform and try to be myself authentically. I have to be myself authentically. If I'm going to be used, if I'm going to be able to have my message to be conveyed, and even for you guys to believe the things that come out of my mouth, you have to have some faith in, okay, this person is in a genuine spot. And that goes for all of us. It doesn't mean just even me sitting on this platform. It means anybody that we interact with. We have to believe that people are, and we are being genuinely or emotionally genuine. And this requires us to believe and feel exactly what it is that we are expressing. And we have to express that in honesty. So with being our authentic selves, it's really a few things that we have to learn to identify. And I'm going to go through those things with you all. Hey, Sister Kaisha, welcome. And there's going to be some things that I'm going to list out where we can start to really survey ourselves, right? To really question ourselves and say, am I really, really on this journey of authenticity that I believe that I'm on? And I'm going to tell you, my pastor says all the time that if you're not living righteously and honestly, and once you're hit with the truth or you're hit with the Bible and stuff like that, you're going to feel convicted because the truth is not being set free, right? So today we're going to really identify authenticity, because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. You can't turn authenticity on and off, right? It is either you are that or you are not that, right? So imagine people like picking and choosing how they're going to interact with people, right? We have to be intentional about how we are going to interact with people. So it takes some intentionality, and it takes really consistency to show that this is who I am. We can't fake the funk about being authentic and genuine. It's literally either you are or either you are not. So tonight we're going to be picking sides, we're going to be picking ourselves apart, and we're going to really be figuring out who are we, and are we authentically submitting ourselves to the world and to the people that we interface with, and things of that nature. So authenticity, let's define that roughly. So it is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. So it shouldn't be difficult to portray yourself as your true authentic self, as long as you are doing it and moving in a way that is consistent, and also in a way that other people can really identify with you. Now, before I say this next sentence, I do want to be very clear. I want to be very clear that authenticity causes us to to live out loud confidently as ourselves. So when I say these things, it's not going against that. I just want us to be mindful that we're choosing to show up in a real way, in a genuine way, in an honest way, and in a way that is true to ourselves. We're not losing sight of who we are. So I do want to keep that very clear. All right. So there are some rules to living as our authentic self. And I would love, and I would challenge you guys to drop in the chat, what are some rules of living as authentic of a life as to yourself and to how you represent yourself to the world? What are some, hey Byron, welcome. I don't think I've ever seen you here, but what are some ways that, and some rules to living and being our authentic selves? I'll give you guys a second to kind of think about that, because I know sometimes I just spring stuff on y'all, but I'm going to always kick us off. So I'm going to kick us off with the first rule. And hey, Boosie Boos. And then we will, you guys can chime in, because it is really, it's rules to it, right? Because you want to ensure that, am I really being genuine? Am I really presenting myself in a way that is consistently showing up for people, as well as showing up for myself in a way that doesn't compromise who I am, what my energy is like? Now, we all have good days and we all have bad days, but being and living in your authentic truth, and I'm about to give us our first rule of living as our authentic selves, okay? So one of those rules is we have to and we must identify our values, okay? And how do I do that, you ask, right? And before I go on, Kaisha is saying something, and I like this, so I'm gonna put it out here. So Kaisha says that she tries to avoid character matching, changing her authentic self when others behave poorly. That is such a great quality in being one's authentic self. Later, I will have a subject line that speaks a lot to that, but you are absolutely right. We should never change our character, and Kaisha coined it as character matching. I hate when I'm in situations, I'm always trying to be the bigger person. And I'll tell you this, roommates, people will prey on that because they want to see you break your character. It's not that we are in character, it's that this is what we're choosing to do. Remember, this is a choice for us. So you don't want to, if someone is behaving poorly, you really don't want to stoop to their level. You want to at all costs, because those people who have the strength and the courage to be them authentic selves, we are the ones that are challenged with, well, who do you think you are? Well, you think you better than people. And I'm going to tell you, roommates, it's okay, because when people start to say those type of things about you, it's that they actually recognize that you are living out loud in your truth and you don't have to switch it up. And they really actually admire that. You know, some people don't have the wherewithal to give you your credit and tell you, I'm really inspired that you're always able to keep your cool. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Kalila. I really admire that you're always able to keep your cool, or that you're always able to be the bigger person. So to Kaisha's point, your character shouldn't change as the result of somebody else's characters and or poor behavior. So that is absolutely right, and I agree with you, and I'm going to delve into that a little bit more, right? So one of the rules is we're not changing our authentic selves. We are not character matching. We are not behavior matching. We are standing in our truth, and we're really looking at people in their faces and telling them, listen, that's not me, and that is not what I'm choosing to engage in. Now, if you want to have this very honest conversation or this honest set of communication, we can do that. Even though everybody is not going to do that on one accord. But we also have to understand that we can't, those of us who are choosing to be authentic and choosing to show up in a way that has, that shows good character and good faith, because that's what authenticity comes with. But it also comes with, right, embracing who we are and not changing for the sake of one's environment, okay? One of the other rules is we have to identify our values. And how do we do that? I'm glad that you asked. So what we have to do, roommates, is we have to recognize the core principles that drive our choices and our behaviors. So what happens in this process is that we begin to pinpoint our values, right? And that helps us to gain clarity about what matters the most to you. Now, I'm a peacemaker. I've always really kind of been known for being non-confrontational. Now, let's, because it's a few people on here who might stumble upon this, who will say, well, girl, you just had an argument with somebody. And that may be true. But, there's a difference between being your authentic self, but also standing your ground to stand up for yourself and to stand up for what you believe in, thus your values, right? People will push your buttons and push your buttons and push your buttons, and you can always be the bigger person, but the moment that you fall into that trap, if you will, then it's like, look, see, I told y'all she not all that, right? Because remember, they're going to place you on a pedestal, roommates. They're going to put you on a pedestal that you didn't ask to be on. You're literally just trying to be authentically yourself. You're trying to treat everybody kind. You've really created a formula of life for yourself that helps you move with dignity, respect, and worth as it comes to yourself first, and then as it relates to the world. Okay, someone is saying knowing when to hold yourself accountable and learning how to recognize when you are or were wrong. Listen, y'all gonna get me through this segment real quick tonight, because that is the truth. In being your authentic self, you have to know when to hold yourself accountable. You have to recognize if and when you're wrong, and you have to take accountability and say, listen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I could have gone about that a different way. And you stand in that genuine place of concern for others, because being an authentic person causes you to really not just keep yourself and your well-being at the forefront, which is important, but it's also about keeping and putting other people's self-worth and all of that. Because remember, for us authentic people, sometimes people are relying on us to pick them up, because sometimes they don't know how to pick themselves up, because they are layered with so many things that unfortunately holds them down. Okay? So another thing that we have to do is identify who we want to be. Let's be very clear. The person that you are today is 9 times out of 10 the person that you were not yesterday. And when I say yesterday, I can mean yesteryear, yesterdecade, right? When I say just identify who do I want to be? Because remember, we're choosing. And then we are taking the necessary and essential steps to stand in this walk and this path of authenticity. So what does it look like when we are trying to figure out, who do I want to be? Who am I really trying to be in this life, that I want to be this person at all times? And basically in that process, we are discovering what is our purpose in life. And I'll tell you, roommates, the easiest way to figure out your purpose in life without reading like the Purpose-Driven Life and reading a lot of books and really trying to come to terms with who you are, one of the easiest ways to figure out who you want to be and the purpose of your life. One of my mentors told me this a couple years ago, and he simply told me, he said, listen, you know the purpose of your life and on your life when whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's personally or professionally, especially professionally, you're willing to do it for free. And for the things that come free, it comes with ease. It's easy to do. So that's when you know you're living a purpose-driven life. Personally, you are identifying with, you are authentically living in yourself, and that authentic self allows you to do something that feels easy to do. It's not forced. It doesn't feel strained. It doesn't feel fake or phony to somebody that's watching it. So for the things that come free for us, the way that you know you are authentically living in it is that it's as easy as breathing. Whatever that those core actions are that you are bringing forth to your universe and to the world, it is easy to do. It is enforced in no capacity. You know how, we got the saying, like, people phony kicking it? You ain't got to phony kick it when you are who you are. I remember a couple of years ago, I had seen this meme, and I didn't put the meme up, but I put what was said in the meme, and it was like, something along the lines of, if y'all don't like me, just say that, because y'all got me out here just waving and grinning and stuff, and y'all don't even like me. And a lot of people laughed at that, but that's the truth, because I'm constantly like, hey, y'all, what's going on, y'all? Grinning and waving and always trying to be my best version, even when I'm not my best version to the world, right? So that's when you know that, personally you are living in your authentic purpose, right? And then professionally, how you know you're living as your authentic self and living your purpose-fulfilled, authentic professional life is anything that you do professionally. If you are willing to do it for free without somebody giving you a penny with a hole in it, that is when you know you are fulfilling your professional purpose and authentic professional life, right? So for me, helping others come as easy as breathing. I would do anything to help people, but lose myself. Like, I can't lose myself in the process. I used to lose myself helping people. I can't do that anymore, right? With living and learning and growing, you learn to do things differently, right? You can still help people. I hear a lot of people saying, like, no, no is my new thing. And it's okay to say no, but do you really want to say no? It's okay to say no as long as it is you being, and we're going to talk about alignment and having to like walk away from situations and giving more no's than you normally would, because you have to be, you remember that? Y'all so funny. Because you have to remain true to yourself. The moment you lose yourself, the authenticity is going out the window, because it starts with self. And then after you are comfortable in your authentic self, that's when you can start to authentically present yourself to the world. Okay, so professionally for me, helping others. You guys know I'm a therapist. You guys know I'm a social worker. You guys know I'm a resource giver. So those things for me, I would do it on a Saturday, on a Sunday. I would do it any off hours. I would do it for nothing at all. My friends and stuff be calling me like, don't you work for DCFS? There's people on here that I'm not telling you to say anything, but that would be like, don't you work for DCFS? Or don't, sister, where's the shelter? Or where's the this? Or where's the that? And I'm always willing to stop to help somebody, especially if I got the resources to do so. And then the other thing for me is fashion. Like, I do a lot of stuff fashion related. You guys know Phoenix is a model, and so she does a lot of fashion shows and stuff like that. I am at all of her fashion shows, and in some capacity, I'm working. I'm not just there as a momager. And sometimes I get paid, and sometimes I don't. And I don't care if I get paid, right? I'm in an element that feels good to me, and it is increasing and boosting my my skills, and it's also boosting my my confidence in the world of fashion. So so yeah, those are some of the things I do. So in the rules, right, we're identifying our values, we're identifying who we want to be. Okay, I have someone saying that they say, who did God create you to be? Because sometimes I want to be ugly with people. Ibu, I was just talking about this, and I'm not. But that's not who he created you to be. Being who he called you to be all the time doesn't always feel good. Ding, ding, ding. And I alluded to that a moment ago, Ibu, before you got on here and said that, simply because it doesn't feel good, right? Being the peacemaker, being the bigger person all the time, it doesn't feel good all the time. And you know what? God will also tell you when to either cut people off or to let them know to please just stop playing with me in the nicest way possible. And sometimes you have to get ugly. I hate to say that. I just had to get out of character this week. Yes, this week. I hated it. I'm dreading it still. I didn't like it. But I felt like, you know, the beast was being poked. You know, I was trying to lend myself, and people try to use your kindness for weakness and use things against you. And when you know what your intentions are, my intentions are always pure. My intentions is never to tear anyone down for the sake of me or the sanctity of me. That's just not who I am. So if you disagree with maybe my tone or my approach, and we're going to talk about communication in a moment, then okay, I understand that everybody's tone, but I actually practice all those things. Like I am intentional about who I am. And sometimes in intentionality, I have to be intentional about letting someone know, please stop playing with me, because sometimes they don't understand the language. Please stop playing with me. You know, so I need to be like that, and I'm with you, Ibu. You can't let the enemy win. So I agree with that, right? Okay. One of the other rules of living as our authentic selves is we have to learn our purpose. And I just said that, but I want to break down a couple things up under that. With what does it look like with learning our purpose? Because again, I just gave you guys some quick tidbits like, okay, if it's free, it's easy to do. If it's professional, you would do it for free, right? But let me give you guys a little tidbits for learning what is your purpose in life, right? We have to set goals for ourselves. We have to set goals. We have to identify both short-term and long-term goals. And those goals have to align with our interests and our values. So this provides us direction and motivations as we're exploring our purpose and becoming our authentic self. There's this book called like Becoming. And essentially what this book tells us is that everything we are or everything we're aspiring to be, we're constantly becoming. It's almost like you never attain the thing. You know, when studying for tonight and studying about authenticity, I seen like an opposing motivational interviewer who said, you know, sometimes, you know, your authenticity is being sad, being mad, being angry, right? Those are the negative parts of authenticity. But I do want to remind you, roommates, that authenticity at the core of it is who we are. So if you are constantly negative, Be that. Be authentically yourself. Because when you go flipping and flopping to fit into your environment, no one's going to believe you. So are you really a mean girl? Or do you want to be a nice girl? Are you really a bully? Or do you want to be someone that stand up for others? So being authentic is not always positive. So I want us to be very clear about that. I want us to be very clear about that. Because some people don't know how to do nothing but bitch, moan, and complain. Sorry to say it like that. Or be mean and nasty to people. And if that's who you are, be that all the time. Don't go confusing us with being mean today and being nice tomorrow, because that's either bipolar or you just don't know who you are and you're trying to find a way, and that's fine. With speaking to continuing up the conversation about becoming, right? But I know people like that, and I know that in their heart of hearts they really don't want to be like that. But that's the image that they've built for themselves, and that's their authentic self. So they find it difficult to try to break those habits, and habits are hard to break. So I do want to be very clear about that too. Okay? Sometimes it's necessary. I agree. The other part of like learning what our purpose is, seek feedback. So we should be talking to our family and friends, getting us some mentors. You guys have heard me say a couple things on my platform a couple of times. One of those things is I'm a therapist with a therapist. So I don't currently have a therapist, but I have had a therapist in the past and will get a therapist in the future. Okay? And then the other thing is, I professionally, I am, equipped to be able to do these things, but I am not above growth. I am not above learning. I am teachable. So I have a mentor. And along the years, I've always had a mentor. So it's about finding someone who you feel has the position, whether it's mind, body, or spirit, or a culmination of all of those things, and have the teachability for you. It's not that you're not teachable. You just have to find someone that you kind of admire in that way, and you believe that you can learn from. Because if you don't believe you can learn from somebody, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to learn anything from them. Okay? Let me see. I see a comment here. Give me 1 second. So somebody is saying that sometimes we have to fall back off people because they've been playing in our face. Oh my God. Somebody tag your near black boy and tell him to come on up over here. That whole playing in your face thing, that thing is real. And I'm going to tell you where the root of that comes from. When you feel like a person is playing in your face, it's when you have shown up authentically with these people on a consistent basis, and they are starting to try to use your kindness or your growth against you. And it's like, come on now. I actually seen him put a post up this week, or maybe last week, that said something like, one of the hardest things to come to terms with is when you realize that people that you care about don't like you at all. That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. Now, I have gone to God, and I have really just reverently asked, those people that are not for me, please remove them. And it doesn't matter in what capacity that they serve in, because I am trying to be better. I am trying to grow. I'm not trying to be a step above you. I'm really just wanting to live in my authentic being. And that whole, those weird vibes, that is real. When a person is no longer treating you the way that they used to, you ain't crazy when you talking about it feels weird, those weird vibes. Those weird vibes. And a lot of it is that because people just cannot, people are offended by your confidence with living authentically. And they mistake it for things like cockiness. And it's not cockiness. It's, girl, do you know how much work I done to sit in this seat and to be okay with myself first? And then to be able to present this person that I've worked on to the world on a consistent level and a consistent basis, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Okay? Cool. So let's keep going. And then so seek feedback from those people that you feel like you really can seek feedback from. And then one of the other things is like living with integrity. Guys, let me tell you something. Sister Kaisha spoke about this earlier, talking about character and character changing in the face and the adversity of your environments, right? But it's in having integrity, guys, and what this means is that we live with consistency of a character. So we are consistently that person. We ain't putting on. We ain't faking the funk. We are consistently that person. And not only are we choosing to be that person, other people can see it in you and for you. Other people can look at you and be like, no, that's Kaisha. She's very sweet and kind. She's extremely considerate. When people are speaking about you, and that's who you are trying to be, my dears, you are living in your authentic self. When folks will speak about you in the way that you're choosing to live, you are on the right course. I've been saying this for many years, and I say it until I die. I can enter any room, and I will exit that same room without wondering what they said when I left, without wondering who's whispering, what rumors they gonna start. Because I show up the same every single time. And if I show up out of character, the very people that knows me are gonna say, that's out of character for her. Something happened. Something went wrong. I was telling you guys a moment ago that I had gotten out of character earlier this week. And I promise you, somebody that witnessed me getting out of character checked on me. And was like, listen, I know that ain't even you. And I'm not even saying that you were wrong in your response. Because you were trying to be the bigger person. So trust me when I tell you, roommates, you ain't got to be far-reaching. Your people, the people that you do it for, and the people that you show up for authentically and consistently, genuine for and with, they'll speak for you. They will speak for you. You won't have to say a word. They'll know she had an off moment, and they also will understand maybe what even triggered you. We're not making excuses for poor behavior, but we can definitely recognize when something is against someone's character, when they're 98% always this way. And then now you see another thing. You probably want to check on them, right? It's hard when it's family members. You still love them, but you have to let them go and find your peace. No lies detected. No lies detected. Family and friends are the ones that cut us the deepest. Guys, I find the strength to do everything that I do first through God and then through people who don't owe me anything. And not to say my family or friends owe me anything, but the people that you've been there for, they are not going to be the ones to validate you. In fact, as I spoke about a moment ago, they're going to be the ones to try to make you feel bad for living in your authentic truth. They're going to be the ones that tell you things like, oh, you think you better than people. They're going to be the ones to be like, who she thinks she is. Be that person anyway. Because someone appreciates it. Someone admires it. You are inspiring someone. Because you got some people that's like, oh my gosh, she is always upbeat. I wish I could be like that. But then you have some other people like, oh my gosh, she always upbeat. She get on my nerves. That's irritating. But in the same breath, you got two sets of people saying she's always upbeat. So you're doing something right. Okay, so yes, I agree. It's hard. It's hard, y'all. I told you I'm down to my best friend, a couple of associates, and one or two cousins, baby. And I come from a big old family, okay? It's hard. It's hard, so I definitely agree with you. Okay, what are the other rules? We're moving along. You guys are doing so well. Yes, I'm seeing yes. Okay. Another rule to living in your purpose and being your authentic self is admitting when you've made a mistake, attempt to apologize or right your wrong, and change behavior, plus moving on. So I know that was a mouthful. So part of those rules of being your authentic self, walking on that authentic path, is admitting your mistakes, attempting to apologize and or right your wrongs or the mistake that you've made, change behavior, and moving on. Roommates, you are never living in your authentic self, in your authentic truth and being your authentic self when you are not at peace in every environment and every situation that you are a part of. Now, again, this doesn't mean that everybody is going to accept you. It doesn't mean that people are not going to turn their backs on you. It doesn't mean that at moments you're going to feel like you're alone. None of that is exempt. Like, those things come with the territory. But what it does mean is that you are learning that on this path, I can admit if I was wrong. I can change my behaviors. I can do everything that I can to right any wrongs. But even if that doesn't work, it doesn't mean you stop being yourself. Because I'm going to tell y'all, roommates, people want to hold us to the habits, to the standards, and to the person we were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I'm just not that person no more. You're not that person anymore. You have changed. Don't feel bad about the change and the growth that you have chosen for your life so that you can live authentically on your path of authenticity. Okay? We're communicating honestly. Everybody be like, communication is key, communication is key. Baby, communication is overhyped and overwhelming. Yes, it is so necessary, but it is overwhelming because not everything that you say someone is going to comprehend. And I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to minimize anybody to not being able to comprehend. But I can tell you this transparently and living in my authentic self. When I left elementary school and went to high school, I knew how to read, but I did not have full-fledged comprehension because I didn't know half of the language and the definitions that I needed to know to survive in this world. So I would have all of these A's and B's and stuff like that, but I had to learn how to comprehend the human language, the English language. So again, this is me just being honest and being transparent. So everything that you read, you may not comprehend. And on the flip side of that, everything that you communicate, someone else is not going to comprehend. Everybody had their own perspectives. Everybody had their own points of views. And especially the person that's trying to defend a point of view before you can even get your point out, baby, you're in a lose-lose. Okay? All right, so also we're not making any assumptions, right? As we're living in our authentic selves, we're getting clarity. We're gaining clarity, and that's by communicating and not making assumptions, right? Right. Okay, what would you guys say is another big rule to being on your path of authenticity? It's a big one. It's probably the biggest one. All this stuff is big. Let me not minimize on this stuff. Let me not play in y'all face, okay? But I'm gonna say it. You have to develop self-confidence in living authentically. Okay? So what that looks like and what that means, roommates, is that we are being our authentic selves without seeking approval to do so. I spoke about a moment ago people being offended. Who does she think she is? Who do he think he is? Oh, you think you're better than people. because it's almost like you have the audacity to stand in your truth. But your truth is not only your truth. When you are truly being your authentic self, your truth is the world's truth. It's the world's perspective of you. You become your billboard of authenticity. Remember, we just talked about people will defend you in that because they know, they learn your character. They know who you are. Right? So, in being your authentic self and having that self-confidence, you're going to do one or two things, and I briefly just spoke about this. You're going to either inspire those people who are like, I really admire that about that person, and I really wish that I could possess it, or I'm working towards that. It's not even just about can you possess it. We can all possess it, but are you choosing to possess it, right? And then, or you're going to have other people that envy your courage and your confidence, right? You're going to have people that, I think I'm getting a call on this phone. Can you guys hear me on Instagram? It's not that I think I'm getting a call. I know that I'm getting a call. And, but anyway, guys, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I recently just learned that if you have your phone on Do Not Disturb and one of your favorites call you, like you have your favorite numbers stored, and if they call you, it's going to come through. So one of my favorites was just calling me, and I hope she get the cue that I'm doing this. I hope you guys can still hear me. But, so yeah, so, or to the contrary of people, you will inspire people. The contrary to that is that people will envy you. Now, let's be very clear. Envy doesn't mean, oh, you're jealous of me, because you may not even know that person, right? Jealousy and envy is two different things. Somebody could be like, oh, I envy that you're a size 4. Not me, because I'm not a size 4. But, and want to work out and get to that weight, right? That's envy. Jealousy is on a whole nother level. So let's be very, 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 very clear about that. So remember, with being your authentic self, it takes courage to be confident. And some people are going to see that confidence and be inspired. And other people are going to see that confidence and they're going to be offended. They're going to be offended because your confidence is going to come off as cockiness. All right? Are y'all getting that? And so let me give you guys kind of like a contrary to that. Think about people who are not living as their authentic selves. Think about a glove compartment of a car. And you know, glove compartments have all of these different, compartments, right? That you maybe drop your keys and then you put some paper, many of us put our mail and stuff like that. And some people who kind of envy when they witness people walking and being their authentic selves, is because they kind of live in that compartmentalized world. And what does that look like? That looks like them people who are not living as their authentic selves, having to compartmentalize to fit in every environment that they go in. Roommates, if you are adjusting your attitude, trying to adjust your energy, because baby, again, either you got it or you don't. But if you are constantly, trying to change and adjust to the environments that you're going in, you got some work to do. You're not in that space of authenticity. It should not be that hard to be yourself. You should not have to adjust yourself. You should not have to give yourself a pep talk. Like, okay, you finna go over here with them and now you need to act like, no, roommates. You should never have to adjust your attitude. Now, don't get me wrong. If you having a bad day and you just got into it with your boo or your bae, and now you got to go over here with your friends or at work. I'll say at work, because with our friends, we can be authentically ourselves. Sometimes at work, you got to suck it up because you don't want people to know your business. So I get that. But outside of work, if you have to just switch who you are all the time to fit in, you're not living in your authentic self. Sorry. All right. We winding down. What else y'all got, roommates? What are some other ways that you know you are living and walking in as your authentic self? What about not being afraid to be different? Being an authentic person in and of itself shows that you're different. You're in a different mindset. You're in a different emotional space. You're in a different spiritual space. It's something different about you. Really, honestly, you're the chosen one. There's a light on you. People who are generally authentic, they are the thermostats of the room, not the thermometer. I hope I said that right. Is it the other way around? They're the thermometer and not the thermostat. And I'll break that down. So the thermometer is the person that can walk into the room and they can change the temperature, because the thermometer changes the temperature. It takes it up or down, right? And if you're able to walk into a room and you change that what it feels like in there, you, my dear, are a thermometer. But if you're just walking in and it's stale, and it remains stale when you walk in there, or everybody is somber and down and all that stuff, don't get me wrong. I don't want y'all to go beat me up. There's a time and a place for everything. But also, when you are authentically yourself, you can walk into any room, any situation, and you have the audacity from your presence to be able to shift the what is happening in that environment. Not you shifting for the environment, because if it's somber, you have the potential and the power to uplift people. I remember my best friend when we've always known each other. And I remember when we became best friends, she said, she told me, I remember when you were a young girl, I used to always look at you and be like, this girl is always in a good mood. She's always in a good mood. And I was. Because first of all, I was, as my grandmother would say, I was a street brother, so I love being outside. But the other thing was, I really just love everything about life. I just do. The good, the bad, the indifferent, I just do. So know that when you are an authentic person, other people will see your gift on you. You don't even have to point it out. You don't got to say, hey, look at me, I'm a light. Hey, look at me, I got an upbeat spirit. Hey, look. People are going to call it out for you. Okay? I see y'all hearts. I guess I'm saying something good. Y'all ain't coming back. So I guess I'm saying something good. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. So people are not going to mistake your confidence for cockiness. And they are actually going to enjoy being in spaces and settings with you. Okay? I have one of our roommates saying, we've discussed boundaries before. They believe that being an authentic person respects boundaries and sets them respectfully. That is key. That is so spot on. My dear childhood friend and social work friend, you know what to say. That is so true. When setting boundaries, an authentic person is able to recognize. I've had people to tell me things like, when we were coming up, right, for those of us who curse, there was an era when we were coming up that we called each other, unfortunately, the B word, right? Bitch this, bitch that. That's how we would refer to each other as girls. Even sometimes the guys, it ain't cute. I don't do that no more. But I remember when we were in that era, I had a couple people along the way, because that was just the thing that we were doing. And I called someone there and they like, don't call me that. Like, I don't want to be called that. I'm not going to call you that. And I was able to like, oh, my bad. You know what I mean? It's a thing in the community, or it's a thing in our environment, but I respect where you coming from. I didn't get mad and say, girl, How can you? How dare you? So I definitely agree. Like, when you are an authentic person, you can respect boundaries as well as set them respectfully. And then when we're setting our own boundaries, we ain't putting our boundaries all up there to make it unattainable for people to be able to reach. But right, we do have to be able to respect boundaries as well as be able to respectfully put them in place. Hey Kiki, I see you. I love you. Thank you for the hearts, my love. And right before we go to our closing segment, the last thing that I am going to say about, living and walking on our authentic path is that we learn to say no to things that do not align with our values. You learn to say no. You learn to say no to those things that do not align with who you are trying to be. We start to live in a space that requires us to walk away from people, places, and things that no longer align with our authentic selves and on our authentic journey. We learn that we learn that there's no need to go everywhere anymore. And we also learn not to become offended or feel attacked when we are no longer invited to the party, to the table, to the event. People will start to shun you in your authentic selves because they can't be themselves in your space anymore. They can't be themselves in your space anymore. Not that you're telling them that they need to change, but you're telling them that you can be that way. And that's perfectly fine. But then you're setting those boundaries and you're drawing that line in the sand like, yeah, that may be you, or that's just such and so, but you're not going to do me like that. And so in walking in your authentic purpose and your authentic selves, you are going to find that your invitations become less and less. You're going to find that you're okay not being in spaces that you're not invited to. And you're going to start to remove yourselves and not show up in places that you used to. It no longer aligns with you. It no longer suits you, roommates. Somebody that you've been friends with for 35 years, you're going to be able to look at one day in your authentic self and say, I can no longer tolerate this person. I can no longer tolerate the disrespect. I will no longer be treated less than. You will treat me with dignity. You will treat me with respect as I'm choosing to do you. You are going to, and that person is going to get mad at you as if what you're saying is wrong. And you're going to be okay with it. You're going to say, hey, that's fine. It's cool. What I used to do, I don't do no more. Places I used to go, I don't go no more. And that's fine. I don't think I'm better than you. I'm just living in my authentic self. This place, this person, this space no longer suits me. And with that, I'm chucking the deuces. Because guess what? I got the right to. I don't owe you no explanation. When I am bowing out gracefully to walk in my purpose and in my authentic alignment, I am living in a space right now where I am aligning myself with people, places, and things I want to be. I ain't even attained some of the stuff that I want to attain with where I'm aligning myself today. I'm going to the places and the people and the things that aspire me to do better, to be better. That's going to hold me accountable and I can appreciate it. Okay, roommates? So I am going to our closing segment. And it is a simple statement. And then we done. Thank y'all. Yes. Saying no in a second. Your piece over everything. I'm with you when you're right. So roommates, in our closing segment, when we begin to realize that people are always bringing up the old us, the old habits, the things that used to define us, we will recognize that those are the people who want to keep us in the space that they would rather have us in. Those are the people who don't know the new you. Those are the people who you're going to have to redirect. Those are the people who you're going to have to reintroduce yourself to and give them the choice to live in your authentic world. It's not being above anyone. It's not even demanding someone to change. It is simply stating and standing in your truth and giving someone the choice to be in your world as you are creating it for yourself. This is when you begin to better understand that your growth journey has landed you on your path of authenticity. Roommates, I'm going to close us out the same way I started us with our Bible verse of the day, because it is so fitting, speaking about authenticity. And it comes to us from Luke 12, 2 and 3. And it tells us, you can't keep your true self hidden forever. Before long, you'll be exposed. You can't hide behind a mask forever. Sooner or later, the mask will slip and your true face will be known. You can't whisper one thing in private and preach the opposite in public. The day is coming when those whispers will be repeated all over town and your authentic self will be revealed, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Roommates, we have come to the end of yet another episode. I love you guys. Today, your energy just really poured through the screen. I'm thankful for your commitment to me and my journey and standing in my authenticity. I challenge you at any moment to redirect me if you know I'm off my square. I promise you I'm putting my best foot forward in everything that I do for the last 20, 30 years and from here on out. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you more than ever. Go ahead and be your authentic selves. Good night, roommates.